Okay, I have the Koolehaoda, I'm probably not saying that right, but anyway, the professional Q2SD 999 62-inch magnesium aluminium alloy tripod and monopod with bore head joint at the top for DSLR cameras. Now, I'd first like to point out that if the tripod looks like it's tilted at an angle, or it's not, it is straight, I'm of course having to use my old broken photography tripod to film this, and it is broken. I can't get a straight angle perfectly anyway. So I'm doing the best I can here, and I will give you basically a little brief tutorial because it comes with instructions that are kind of like IKEA instructions. There's a few basic pictures. So if you're not familiar with tripods or not familiar with the way that this works, especially because it is a monopod built inside a tripod that you can detach, etc. I'll show you briefly how to use the basic functions, and at the end I'll give you my opinion on it and if I recommend it and any flaws I find, and I'll tell you all the specs about it. So let's begin. Just like I say, just note that it might look a bit wonky, but that's because of this old tripod I'm using to mount the camera on. As I said, it has a very fluid bore head. That's 360-degree fluid swivel head, panoramic head, so you can move it up, down, left, right, and not just in like jerky motions, not just like in various sort of stages, but actually just sort of move it around because it's got like a bore head joint, so it'll just swirl around in pretty much every single direction, just swirl all over the place. So it's very fluid. You can also mount the camera to the bottom of it and use it for low angle shots. So say you want to film, like for a short film, somebody walking and you want to show like their legs or feet walking, you can mount it to the bottom and get a low angle shot, which is really, really cool. Especially since this is not a photography tripod, this is a video tripod, so it's got a few little bells and whistles like that for videographers or some people making short films, whatever you might be doing. Also at the bottom there is a little hook that you can attach weights to. Now the tripod, I'm impressed by it. It's very firm, heavy and steady and very sturdy. It's not too heavy, by the way, so it is portable, but it has, unlike the photography tripod I'm using now, which is very flimsy and lightweight, it feels very, very firm and sturdy, so I don't think it's going to shake or blow over at all for you anyway. But if you need it, you can attach extra weights to the bottom. They're not included. It does not include weights, but if you want to, you can use weights and attach the weights to the bottom to make it even more sturdy and make sure it isn't going to wobble, blow away, whatever. The plate at the top, which you mount the camera on with the little screw at the top, that is actually detachable. And if you look, I'll point these things out closer in a minute, but if you look at the top left there, there's a little round little, what looks like a round little nozzly thing there. That turns and it slides out a little bit, so you can pull the plate out. Then once you put the plate back in, or the plate with the camera on back in, you then twirl it up there, and then it will hold firmly back in place. So it is detachable, which is really good. In fact, the whole section there, the whole top bit, from the plate at the top down to the joint there where the little hook, second little hook is, that is completely come off, and that is how you make it into a monopod. You remove one of the legs and attach that top bit with the plate onto the separate leg. So you turn this to remove the plate, and you can actually leave that on your camera, screwed to the base of your camera, so you can just sort of attach the camera on as you need it, which is really good to slide the camera on if you've left the base plate on the bottom of the camera. Then you screw that again to make sure the camera's tightly on top. You turn this little hook here to turn the bore head. So if you turn it one way, this will stay firmly in place. It isn't going to drop down or anything like that, so you won't have your camera facing the floor or whatever. You get it positioned how you want, then you can always turn that and keep it firmly in place. Or turn it to loosen it, then you can move this around nice and fluid, very fluid motion here in this little joint up the top. Then once you've got it in position, you can always then tighten it up. Which it brings me to a point that, unfortunately, my photography tripod had a kind of handle. I'll try to show you at least a picture of it. It had a handle for panning. This doesn't seem to have a handle to make panning a lot more sturdy and easy to use, because when you've got a handle you can keep it pretty straight and move it around. Well, you can move the handle around to pan nice and easily without making it too out of an alignment, not make the image too unstraight, things like that. This doesn't have a handle, so to pan around once your camera's on there, you have to get the camera and move it around, actually physically move the camera around, which seems a little weird, especially since I'm used to a previous tripod which had a big long handle for panning. So that is one downside to this. There's no handle for panning, which just seems awkward to me. There is a spirit level right here on top and one on the little knob here. So basically, I'm sure you're familiar with spirit levels, but basically you have a little bubble and there's a circle drawn on that, and you have to get it in alignment so that the bubble is within the middle of the circle. That means you're lined up, it's nice and straight, your shot is going to be straight, it's not going to be crooked in one direction. Of course, once you mount the camera on that, you then can't see that, but there is one on the end here which is actually still quite awkward to see once you've got your camera mounted on. So I would have preferred to see one, perhaps a spirit level, maybe like at the back or the front, I don't know, a bit of a longer strip one. It's just a little hard to see once you have the camera mounted. It has a folded length of 32 centimeters, maximum height of 158 centimeters, a minimum height of 46 centimeters, and a weight with the bore head attached of 1100 grams. The tripod's maximum weight it can take is 5 kilograms. Its head height is 85 millimeters, its head diameter is 45 millimeters, and its maximum load capacity is 7 kilograms. It costs in the UK £49 or $38.88 with a recommended retail price of $45.88. If it's available in the US on the US Amazon store, I will put a text overlay with the price both in UK pounds and US dollars. Now it's going to be, with this broken tripod, quite awkward for me to show you some of the ways of doing stuff, like making it a monopod or packing the legs up or turning it over to make it to do a low angle shot, but I'll do my best. Now at first when I got this tripod, I thought you would detach the bore head part and screw it to the bottom for a low angle shot, and it's similar, but you don't do that. You don't take it off and mount it to the bottom because it just has that hook on the bottom. You actually flip the legs upside down and turn the whole thing basically upside down, so you reverse the tripod. That's how you get a low angle shot, and I'll show you that in just 1 second. Now for a monopod, there are 3 legs of course on the tripod. Now 2 have just black with this kind of rubber foam, and there is one which is black and gold without any foam on. It's that leg that detaches. You detach just by unscrewing it. You unscrew that leg, then you screw the bore head onto that leg to make that into a monopod, and I'll show you that in half a second. As you can see, or I hope you can see, this bit dangling down is actually a handle for carrying it. What else is in the box? There is a leaflet with instructions, although it's very hard to follow these instructions, very IKEA if not worse, and a hexagon screw if you need it, in a pouch. Then there's this that I don't find very useful. It's just a carry pouch that you can carry with you, and I think basically it's just got a little like holder here. I guess you could put something like the hexagon screw in there. It doesn't really serve much purpose. It's just a little holder with one little pouch. I'm not really sure what it's for, just to hold the manual in and the hexagon screw maybe, but it comes with that anyway. Okay, it's not wanting to autofocus very well, so I'll put it back to manual. Okay, this is the plate I was talking about with a screw on, so you can screw the base of the camera on there, and it does actually slide back and forth a little bit to get a bit more movement on the camera. Now to take that plate off, you unscrew this, like that, slide it out, like that, slide it back in, then once you've got it back in, you screw this to tighten it up. Now here's this ball head I'm going to show you. Look, it's really fluid and movable. Then here is the spirit level I was talking about. Then there's a spirit level on the tip of that as well. Now to remove this section here, to put it onto the monopod, you just unscrew it. This lever here is to tighten and loosen. Tighten this, so as you can see now I can't move it, it's nice and tight for the shot. Then we can take this bit here, this lever, and turn it. Now I can turn it again. For packing this away or changing it or whatever, you push these little bits here in. Then you see you can't raise the legs, so it stays firm. But then if you want to raise the legs, you pull them out, but it's nice and sturdy. Then you can raise the legs up like that to pack it away, or to flip it over and turn it into. Now you see I basically flipped it upside down, so now you can put the camera low angle here. You can tilt this if you've loosened it. You can tilt this if you've loosened it to get an angle out like this or out like that. Very fluid. Now it's at the bottom for a low angle shot. Now if you want to lower this so it's closer to the ground or a bit higher up because you can't fit your camera or whatever, you use this knob here, unscrew and tighten, unscrew this, and then you can lower this whole pole down lower or up higher. Then you tighten it again to keep it in place. Now this is the bottom bit that if we still had this the correct way up for a normal shot, not a low angle shot, would be like down in the middle between the legs. You can like pull this up, pull that up and attach weights to it. Now what about making this into a monopod? Now that is the main two things really with this, is to use it as a standard tripod or use it as a monopod. Really putting it in low angle mode is a bonus, although you could use it a lot. I could see it being really useful if you're making say a short film. But you could either perhaps want this as a standard tripod mode or a monopod. Those are the main selling points, although I love how you can have it as a low angle sort of shots. Get those really low angle shots, especially if you're filming say short film, maybe want to show somebody walking to show their feet or legs or whatever. It could be so useful in so many ways. Or if you're filming say some kid playing with a toy car or whatever for a short film, you could have it low angle and film the car moving around or whatever, the little remote control car or whatever. It's so useful. But anyway, the main selling points are standard tripod basically with fluid head or a monopod. Well, how do you make it into a monopod? Because it doesn't have a separate part. You actually detach it. It's kind of like a hybrid. You detach it from the main actual tripod. So this leg here with the gold, unlike the other legs, comes off. You just unscrew it. There you go. Now what you do is this ball head here unscrews and then it screws to the top here. So then you've got your camera on top here. Then what you can do if you want to make this longer, like you probably would, you unscrew the legs and it comes out long, and you can actually get it even longer than that. There you go. Okay, then you have your ball head screwed to the top here with your camera on it. Then there's the leg. Then you can have it set down like that, and move it all around as you need. Then when you want to use it as a tripod again, you can just simply reattach this leg to the main tripod and use it as a tripod again. That's actually really easy, quick and simple to use. I really thought it was going to be much harder to get it to come out as a monopod, but actually it's really simple. You just quickly unscrew the leg, unscrew the ball head, screw the ball head to this bit. There you got your monopod. Then you just do the reverse to reattach it. Very simple. Now this is in monopod mode a minute, but if you had this, say this was just one of the three legs, say we had this set back up as a tripod, well, how do you stretch the legs out longer? Well, normally you would unclamp on some photo tripods, you unclamp it, then pull it out and then clamp it back down to hold it in place. This doesn't do it like that. So you unscrew one way, basically anti-clockwise, to pull out the leg as long as you want. And once you've got it the length you want, you screw it clockwise and then it's firmly in place. Then you want to pack it back up, anti-clockwise, put it back in, screw it back up. So it's very simple to extend the legs. screw anti-clockwise to pull the legs out however far you need, then screw clockwise to hold it firmly in place, and then vice versa. Now if you want to reattach your leg, you just, I'm trying to do this very awkwardly from behind the camera, but you just basically screw it clockwise back onto the other little stump, and there you go, it's back on, and there's your third leg on your tripod. Very simple. Now, as you can see, we've got it reversed, so we can flip it over, and there we go. There it is back into tripod mode. And like I say, using using this knob here, this will allow us to loosen it and raise it up or lower it as much as we want. Then you screw that back up to tighten it once you got it in position, and that's how you raise and lower the main kind of stalk of the tripod. And then we have these little bits, like I say, that come out that you push in to hold it so it won't fold back up when you don't want it to. But then what if you want to pack it back up? Well, you pull these back up, raise your legs all three back up like that, back up near the bore head. Then you can pack it back away in the included pouch, which I haven't shown you yet, but I will. There you go, that's basically how you pack it up. You just unclick those little things that push in, you pull them back out, then you can raise the legs up in the air so they're up against the fluid head, the bore head. Then it's like this, and then you can slot it back in its bag. Then when you want to reuse it, you pull the legs back down, then you click those little tabs back in to make sure it's held in place and doesn't like collapse back up. Very simple once you've tried it. Like I say, it's got a decent weight to it, nice and sturdy, plus you make it even more sturdy by adding weights yourself. Very sturdy, very impressed by the quality, very high quality. Really like it. I just wish it had a handle to pan, because you have to pan by physically grabbing the camera and moving it. It's a pity there isn't a handle like there is on some photography tripods. This previous tripod I used does have a little handle, which is so useful. It's just a shame this doesn't have a handle. But it's very high quality, very sturdy, very flexible. You can make it a monopod, a tripod, mount your camera at the bottom for a low angle shot. So flexible and so sturdy, so high quality. Really impressed. Right, here is the bag, the sack, whatever you want to call it, the carry pouch that you slot it back into when you finish using it, and it makes it very easy to carry around, so it ain't just loose or whatever. You don't have to find another bag to put it in. You put it in this, and it's even got a handle to carry it. Very useful, nice little carry pouch. Okay, so what are my thoughts? I was actually very impressed by the quality. I expected it to be a little less heavy, a little less sturdy, and maybe a little bit cheaper feeling, but actually it's really high quality. Because it is a brand that perhaps isn't hugely known, but it is actually a really good, really high quality tripod that includes a carry pouch. It's sturdy, very flexible, has a 360-degree swirl bore head. You can mount your camera, you can sort of flip it over basically and have the camera low down for low angle shots, or you can detach your leg and turn that leg into a monopod. Such a really good hybrid of a monopod and tripod. Plus you can do those low angle shots, which is so cool, and there's so many different heights and levels you can get it at. You can have it really tall, really short, medium, or anywhere in between. So flexible, so good. Comes with a carry pouch and a little kind of pouch thing here. You can keep the hex key in or something. Really, it's not very useful, the pouch. It's just got it's just got basically one little slot in it that doesn't close up or seal up or zip up. So it's not particularly useful, but it's a little bonus, I guess. And you have a hex key if you need it there as well. And it's even got the bonus, which I didn't realise until I'd played around with it, experimented, used it, checked the leaflet. It even has a little hook on the bottom for weight, so that is something I'm not used to because I've only used cheap photography tripods before. This actually has a little hook you can attach your own weights to get the tripod even heavier and sturdier, so even if it's in quite a strong gusts of wind, it's not going to blow over. To be honest, it's so kind of sturdy. It's so sturdy, and even even has a decent weight to it. I really think even in quite a wind, it's not going to rock or knock over anyway. But if you are out in a really bad wind or something and you're not sure, or you think it is going to shake at least a little bit, you can add weights to really make sure it's firm as you can possibly get it. So flexible, so good quality, so sturdy. Really impressed. Its only flaw really I have found personally is that there is no panning handle like there is even on my £15 photography tripod, which I don't really like. It broke, and it broke not long after I got it, to be honest. It was never right from day one. It's very light, flimsy, and falls over easily. It's very light, you know, even a bit of wind could probably knock it over, unlike this video tripod here. So I really like this video tripod, but the one thing the other tripod does have that I do miss is the panning handle. It makes moving the camera so much easier. You know, maybe you're not used to a panning handle anyway. Maybe this will be fine. Maybe you're used to this way of doing it. But I'm used to having a handle to move side to side and up and down. So I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel like I'm getting the shot straighter and without it kind of, without that bore head moving around all over the place. I feel if I had a handle, I could really get a straight shot a lot easier and quicker. But, you know, maybe that's just me. Maybe actually you would prefer just doing it the way this does it. Maybe you're not used to those handles. But for me, I miss the handle to pan around. But apart from that, a very high quality, sturdy, flexible tripod monopod hybrid. Love it. Really good. I do recommend it. Please like and comment on this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it just takes a few seconds and will help me out a lot. Also, if you're watching this as a review on the Amazon product page, please hit the button that says useful or helpful. That will help me out a lot too. Thanks for watching.